Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Muhammadu Allah Rasulullah. Dear students, today's lecture, मेरे ख्याल में it is 8th one, if I'm not wrong. और सबसे पहले तो I must give you the title role. ये आज का जो लेक्चर है, what is all about it? ये लेक्चर जो है, it is the role of Muslim press in freedom movement of Pakistan. यानी प्रेस का रोल क्या था, वट दे वर डूइंग इस मूवमेंट के में, जो मूवमेंट यानी पाकिस्तान की चल रही थी. तो डॉक्टर साहब सॉरी ये इंटरप्शन हो गई थी. इट वाज ड्यू टू द लाइट. आपको पता हमारा मतलब जैसे चल रहा है. सॉरी फॉर दैट. अभी मैं आता हूँ मुस्लिम प्रेस आफ्टर 1857 वार, जो 1857 की जंग हुई थी. उस जंग के बाद प्रेस का रोल जो है वो मैं आपको जस्ट डिलीवर दैट. So it's that the existence of Muslim press in subcontinent before and after the war of 1857 was rather insignificant. The consequences of the war of Indian independence of 1857 adversely affected the Muslim press, which was already a mere shadow of an independent and free agency. It was further subdued and stimulated on flimsy ground. Consequently, the tone and style of Muslim journalism after the war of 1857. It remained soft, and the attitude of compromising. Most of the newspapers were working and projecting the Western arts and science and ways of life. There were some newspapers working on this, projecting the Western arts and science and ways of life. There were some newspapers as well. However, it continued criticizing the policy of the government and expressed their own points of view about the affairs of the country. The newspaper like Sholai Tu, that was the name of the paper. Khair, Kahane Khalak. However, the अखबार आलम वर, ये पुराने अखबारों का जिक्र हो रहा है. बहुत नाम आपके लिए भी अजब से होंगे. These were the papers. These were notable for the publishing political news of national importance and giving useful suggestions to the government of administrative matters. Sometimes they also criticized the policy of the government. यानी हर वक्त वो कसीदा राय नहीं करते थे अखबार में थी गवर्नमेंट की जो राइट और रॉन्ग पॉलिसी ऊपर थी उसके ऊपर भी दे हैड देयर ओन reservations. Some newspaper moving portrait the picture of Muslim suffering under the British rule. They also tried to arouse and develop political and national consciousness among the Muslims. Credit goes to the great leader Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. Who published a periodically scientific society and Tahzeeb-e-Ikhlaq to educate the Muslim and train them for struggle for survival. Now एक और नाम भी मैं आप बता देता हूँ Tahzeeb-ul-Ikhlaq. That was also paper. Was monthly magazine which was published on the pattern of British general inspectors. Through these, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan wanted to uprise the government of the problem and difficulties Indian Muslims and the same Indian Muslim. At the same time, he wishes to create political consciousness amongst his countrymen and to Indian Muslims rather. At the same time, he wished to create political consciousnesses amongst his countrymen. In the new system of the government. Besides, he also aimed at the giving a new line of thought and action of Muslims. It is interesting to note that in the beginning, Sir Syed ideas could not attract the common Muslim. शुरू में हर चीज़ जो नई होती है उसके लिए मुश्किलात भी होती हैं. It is one of that. नेशन में इतना वो वजीर आई जो नहीं मिली. With the passage of time, it was, लेकिन ये उस वक्त की बात जब वो नहीं थे. But slowly and gradually, their influence penetrated into a limited respective circle. The Tahzeeb-ul-Ikhlaq exhorted the Muslim to accept good European norms and ways of life. ये अब मुख्तलिफ में नाम कोट करने लगा हूँ जैसे इत्तेहाद था उर्दू मुअल्ला दी यूजेस सर सैयद ये नाम मुख्तलिफ थे सर सैयद अहमद खान the outstanding person who used the press source propagate his ideas was Abdul Halim Sharar. He tried to awaken the Muslim out of political lethargy through General Dilgudez and Ithad. His distinguished publication in the respect was Muazzab Abdul Halim Sharar was a strong exponent of separate political integrity of the Indian Muslim and wanted to keep away from Congress. In an editorial of Muhazzab in 1890, 1890, he presented the idea of the division of subcontinent, which was, in his opinion, the only solution of Hindu-Muslim problems. It was a novel idea and was presented in the Indian press for the first time. The Urdu Mualla of Hasrat Mohani was daring general which always published his revolutionary thoughts against foreign rulers. On account of daring thoughts expressed through his press, he was arrested several times. मतलब जो गवर्नमेंट के ज़्यादा खिलाफ से अंदर बाहर भी हुआ जाएगा. Now I'm coming toward the comrades, Zimidars, and Hamdard. In the beginning of 20th century, the comrades of Maulana Muhammad Ali Jauhar and Zimidar of Maulana Zafar Ali Khan provided an outlet for the Muslim sentiments already perturbed against the British rule during the stormy days of Khilafat movement. The journals and newspaper took the Indian Muslim by storm and stirred the Indian politics in politics. Maulana Muhammad Ali Jauhar published two newspapers, the Comrades in English and Hamdard in Urdu. The Comrade was started on January 1st, 1911 from Calcutta. The Maulana himself was a man of parts about whom H.E. Well said Maulana Muhammad Ali Jauhar had the pen of Macaulay, the tongue of Percy, and heart of Napoleon. Robert Fraser wrote an editorial in the Time of India that Maulana Muhammad Ali Jauhar had marvelous command over the English language. No Indian and perhaps few Englishmen could write better, that he said. There was another paper, Hilal and Zimidar. Al Hilal was founded, edited, published by Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad, Its First issue prepared in 13 July 1912 and was well timed in the contemporary political atmosphere. Muslim India was informant and was likely to be swayed and emotion. The annulment of portion, the partition of Bengal, and compel the Muslim abandon the policy of political coercion. Sorry, and reliance on the government. Al Hilal generally published serious article and religious literature. A substantial portion of Hilal was devoted to photographs, an article on Turkey. The Muslim leader, different with political view of Azad, he was not in favor of separate platform for India Muslim. He was against the division of India and opposed the creation of Pakistan. The period of Azad career as a journalist came to an end after 3.5 years. In 1914, the First World War started, and on account of certain pro-German articles, the security of Hilal was forfeited, and it was asked to deposit another sum of rupees 10,000, which brought its publication to an end. Although its political views were controversial, yet its contribution in the field of religion was remarkable. Maulana Azad started another weekly Al-Bilagh. This also came to an end in 1916. वो अखबार मतलब बनाते भी गए, कुछ चलते भी गए, कुछ आते भी गए. When Maulana was extended from Bengal, actually. अब आते हैं towards Zimidar. The most important Urdu newspaper published from Lahore was Zimidar. That was the name of the paper, जो कि लाहौर से शाया किया गया था. It was edited by Maulana Zafar Ali Khan in 1837, Kerry in 1956. He was an eminent scholar who commanded mastery on prose and poetry. His writing filled the hearts of Muslim community with religious enthusiasm and devotion to an independent homeland. Zimidar, in fact, was symbol of idea of Pakistan, and it waged a fierce battle against Hindu domination and British imperialism. Zimidar was strongly supported the League demand for Pakistan and its object. It was considered to be a naked sword for the Hindu and British. Zimidar acceded to bring about a revolution among the Muslim masses and motivated them to achieve their cherished goal, Pakistan. After the partition, Zimidar was closed down. यानी पाकिस्तान बनने के बाद उसे बंद कर दिया गया। एक और पेपर जो कि आज तक जारी सारी है, the name of that paper was Nabai Waqt. Probably you all must be knowing it. सब लोग आप जानते हैं इस पेपर को. It is the name of powerful and prestigious daily newspaper in Urdu which played dynamic role in Pakistan movement. It was found, founded in 1940 by an enthusiastic student leader and founded presided of Punjab Muslims Federation. It had a very modest beginning. It started as a well-sized fortnightly. The first issue was November 1942. It became weekly and afterwards a daily newspaper. पहले यानी हफ्तावार था, फिर रोज की बुनियाद पे शुरू हो गया. The Muslim press in Punjab, with the exception of Delhi Ehsan, was under the firm control of Unionist Party. The British and Hindu press had launched a campaign maliciously propaganda against the Muslim community and leadership. The Nawai Waqt very successfully diffused all these baseless fabrication, and Hamid Nizami is the name of the founder, had worked immensely hard on front. When they started a war between Hindu and Muslims newspaper, the Nawai Waqt was made a target attack by Hindu press. Hamid Nizami, the young and daring journalist with his powerful pen and tackled situation voluntarily. He introduced new trend and innovation and traditional journalism. He wrote very argumentative and lucid prose, which instantly convinced the leader and the cast a great impact on their views. He was an undisputed dictator of the contemporary young generation of journalists who accelerated the pace of journalist progress before after partition. The Nawai Waqt had a character of its own. It was mouthpiece of the young generation which had been inspired by Iqbal. Hazrat मैं इकबाल की बात कर रहा हूँ. Its management was competent, and although it was privately owned newspaper, for the practical purpose, it was organ of Muslim League, which kept a critical watch on what the Unionist Party was doing to bolster up to Zimidar Di. It published poems, articles in support of demand of Pakistan and became powerful factor of forming public opinion in the Punjab. The role of Nawai Waqt and its editor, Hamid Nizami, was no doubt without precedent, as it gave a voice to Muslim community, which was formally fighting for rights guarantees and safeguard in United India. The position was now changed into demands for an independent home for the Indian Muslims. In revolutionary change, the Muslim press, especially in Waqt, played a pivotal role. Accordingly to S.M. Ikram, Hamid Nizami, a greatest contribution to the national struggle came through the newspaper Nawai which became mouthpiece of the new generation struggling for the achievement of Pakistan. एक और व्यू दे रहा हूँ मैं अदर पेपर्स लाइक एहसान एंड डेली सादात ये पेपर दो आ रहे हैं द एहसान फाउंडेड इन 1937-34 was another contemporary daily newspaper which also wielded a great deal of influence and political current of the subcontinent. It was edited by Maulana Murtaza Khan, who was a well-known journalist and who later edited the Daily Shahbaz of Peshawar. Ehsan mustered useful support for Pakistan movement. In this stage, Maulana Muhammad Shafi, popularly known as Meme Sheen, that was a title given to him, Muhammad Shafi and Meme Sheen, and T.K. Durrani richly contributed a journalist literature. They projected and consolidated the stand of Muslim League and were a great source of strength for Pakistan movement. They immensely contributed to the demand for Pakistan. These journalists were also members of the Punjab Muslim League Student Federation and they campaigned the cause of Muslim with devotion and dedication. Apart from these main centers of Muslim press in Lahore, Bombay, and Calcutta, the other centers of Muslim newspaper and periodically had been places like Quetta, Karachi, and Lailpur, now which is known as Faisalabad. The Daily Sadat, edited by Safi, Nasik Safi, Safi, that was the name of editor, was published from Lailpur. It was an Urdu newspaper which faithfully represented and projected the views of all India Muslim League. Sadat wielded a considerable influence, projected the views of all India Muslim League. Sadat wielded a considerable influence on the Muslim of the region. The Muslim press from these centers went a long way to unite the Muslim masses under the green flag of Muslim League for the cause of Pakistan. Now, another good name everyone knows, it's still today going on, the Daily Dawn. The Daily Dawn, that was an English paper. The Daily Dawn was published from Delhi. It was founded by Qaid Azam to meet the dire need of English daily, which could act as a powerful organ of Muslim League, as the Hindu press had not left any gun in its armory unfired at Muslim. It was edited by Altaf Hussain, who was a prolific writer. According to M.A.H. Isfahani, Dawn, which had captured substantial Muslim leadership throughout the north and the adjoining Muslim areas, began to grow stronger and stronger with the passage of each month. These were not looking back until the partition compelled to shift from दरजगनी ओढ़ दी ये नाम था दिल्ली का पुराना दरियागनी Delhi to Karachi, but as well as know before the machinery and recorded could be brought over the office and printing press of Dawn were burned and destroyed by Hindu and Sikh hooligans. So what was actually brought over was the name of Dawn. The editor Altaf Hussain and I now understand a checkbook of an Indian Bank of Delhi where the funds of Dawn lay frozen. अभी मैं आता हूँ कंक्लूजन की तरफ. It's end of it. So इन तमाम पेपर्स का क्या रिजल्ट सामने आया. Conclusion. The Muslim press and newspaper were no doubt quite alert and active on their respective fronts. They were engaged in a continuous force battle against the leagues, opponent, and successfully defeated their subtle and malicious propaganda against her leadership. They took the message of League to every nook and corner of the subcontinent, explained the rationale of Pakistan to the Muslim masses and mustered their support for Pakistan. Thus, through their untiring efforts, they made the task of the Qaid-e-Azam easier and the creation of Pakistan inevitable. So, dear students, that's all for now. Till next lecture, try to understand it, read it very carefully, using your brain actively, and I hope you are in a position to do it. Thank you very much. So difficult.